What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, now the reigning undisputed welterweight world champion, who did so, became the first male to become undisputed in 2 separate weight classes, became the first welterweight to hold all 4 major sanction belts, became the first junior welterweight to hold all 4 major sanction belts, and is widely recognized and acknowledged as the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is 40 wins, no losses, no draws. He is 31 big wins by way of knockout, 35 going on 36 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. Terence Crawford sends a message to the world, as Terence Crawford is as of the understanding that his fight, his highly anticipated, mega iconic marquee showdown, July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, when he finally took on former unified 3-belt WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who was top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, in Earl the Truth Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is now 28 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 22 big wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, Terence Crawford dominated a fight that was supposed to be, on paper, if there ever were one, a 50-50 fight, a competitive fight, the most highly anticipated fight in the last 10 years. This was a fight where many people was anticipating this, clamoring for this, eager to see it. Couldn't understand, couldn't give you a true winner in this fight between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. They had mutual opponents that they both beat in 2 separate ways. Sean Porter, Kell Brook, right? And Terence Crawford went there and did the unthinkable. He dominated Errol Spence, who was seen to be fundamentally sound, the bigger, naturally bigger guy. Started his career at 154, campaigned at 147. Terence Crawford started his career at 130, became a champion 135, 140, 147. Errol Spence, a natural southpaw, big, strong, and aggressive, with a high work rate, breaking his opponent's orbital bone, breaking his opponents down physically and mentally, destroying them. His last fight, we saw Errol Spence, April 16th, Arlington, Texas, AT&T, Dallas Cowboys Stadium. He took on Cuban star, WBA world champion at the time, Yordenis Ugas. He broke his ribs, nose, orbital bone, and stopped Ugas. He broke Kell Brook orbital bone in his first title opportunity, May of 2017, in the UK in hostile environment, and stopped Kell Brook in the 11th round. He then went on to break Chris Algieri's orbital bone, who was a world champion. Nearly break 2-division world champion Puerto Rican superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia's orbital bone. Nearly broke Lamont Peterson, former world champion, orbital bone. So dominant performances by Errol Spence. Terence Crawford was seen to be the smaller guy, and he proved to be anything but that. Was the stronger, faster, more athletic, more gifted fighter in the ring. Was better in every aspect than Errol Spence, surprisingly. Dropped Errol Spence in the 2nd round, twice in the 7th round, and stopped him in the 9th round. And in between those rounds, 3, 4, 5, and 6, he battered Errol Spence. Although Errol Spence in the first half of round 3, I thought he won the first half of round 3. Then Terence Crawford gauged his distance, and he really took control of the fight at that point in time. And from there on, it wasn't even a fight. He just battered Errol Spence. Battered him in the 8th round, and many people thought it should have been stopped in the 7th round. Just dominated the fight, right? And with that said, it was shocking, the performance. So shocking, so much so that fans can't accept what they witnessed. And it started to go left, making up excuses, rhymes and reasons as to why Errol Spence lost and the way Errol Spence lost, right? Many people started to say Errol Spence was weight drained. Errol Spence himself said, I got to do that again in December at 154, junior middleweight. We got to go up a weight class. Terence Crawford is on record saying, it's not easy to make 147 for myself. There was even reports that Terence Crawford had to get on the scale a few times, initial weigh-in for this fight, because he didn't make weight. People were saying Terence Crawford looked weight drained. He looked like Skeletor in the face. His face looked sucked in. But again, the narrative was that Errol Spence, the perspective was that Errol Spence was just a bigger guy, which he naturally is. But Terence Crawford was stronger. Then we had a doctor come out that went viral that stated that Errol Spence neurologically was off. And that ran rampant. Then it was Terence Crawford gloves was loaded. There was a many different reasons, rhymes of reasons as to why Errol Spence didn't look dominant his normal self in the ring, other than Terence Crawford being in front of him. And Terence Crawford let it be known he heard all of that. He heard all of that. It's time for Terence Crawford again. He got the call to go back fishing. As Errol Spence refers to himself as the big fish. The biggest fish. The orca. The Moby Dick. The great white. The biggest fish in the ocean. And Terence Crawford, his hobby is fishing in real life. So it played into the storyline. He even wore a net, and fishing gear was his trunks, made by Steven Nelson, excuse me. So with that said, Errol Spence officially was announced that he activated the rematch yesterday. And now Terence Crawford, we know this fight is going to take place at 154. So Terence Crawford is getting ready to vacate his belts now. He's getting ready to vacate the belts. He's officially moving up to 154. Errol Spence has already announced that he's officially moving up to 154. He's already ranked in the junior welterweight WBC titles, top 10. He's number 3, I believe, in the WBC top 10. He changed his profile to 28 wins and 1 loss, and he changed his profile to now junior welterweight title contender. He's officially moved up. So we know this rematch is going to take place at 154. So now Terence Crawford is officially getting ready to move up himself and vacate the titles. And he lets the world know it's time to go fishing and it's time to prove a point. It was no fluke. It was no fluke. I'm even more focused in this fight. See, this is the biggest fight of Terence Crawford's career, this rematch, to prove that that wasn't an anomaly, to prove that he's just levels above Errol Spence. See, the first fight was shocking. The element of surprise is now removed. Now the world's expecting you to do it again. This is when you got to step up. This is when you got to show who you are. As I said, when Anthony Joshua fought against Andy Ruiz, June 1st, 2019, Madison Square Garden, Andy Ruiz shocked the world. Dropped Joshua 4 times, stopped him in the 7th round. Shocked the world. I said that wasn't the most important fight in Andy Ruiz's career. The rematch was, that took place in December, that he had to prove that it wasn't an anomaly, it wasn't a fluke. He belonged there. And Andy Ruiz dropped the ball, came in almost 300 pounds, got outboxed and outclassed by Anthony Joshua, and then he's been relatively inactive ever since. Nobody takes him serious. Now he did rectify that, coming back and beating Luis King Kong Ortiz, dropping him 3 times and winning that fight. That somewhat resurrected his career and how people viewed him. But he dropped the ball. Terence Crawford is in a position where he can't drop the ball. He got to make Errol Spence look just how he made him look the last fight. Domination on the part of Terence Crawford. He got to dominate this fight on the part of Terence Crawford. And so with that said, Terence Crawford lets it be known. I got the call. It's time to go back fishing. It's time to get back in the lab. And it looked like December, I believe it's going to be December 30th. It can be December 9th, but I believe it's going to be December 30th. Tom Brown Promotions, who's the promotional company to represent for PBC, Premier Boxing Champion founder and advisor Al Heyman, they secured 2 dates, December 9th and December 30th, for pay-per-view fights. I think more or less it'll be December 30th. But it can be December 9th as well. Terence Crawford fought December 10th last year. So I can see it being December 9th as well. But Terence Crawford lets it be known. I'm focused. I'm locked in. And now Errol Spence said, I'm not making up no excuses. I have no excuses. And even if I did have an excuse, I wouldn't tell you. Right? But at the same token, Errol Spence said, this fight got to be at 154. So essentially giving the indication that he was weight drained. That's another excuse that people had for Errol Spence. They said Errol Spence didn't look like himself. He was weight drained. He can't make the weight. But the same token, dismissing the fact that Terence Crawford struggles to make 147 as well, and he's going to be better at 147. So Errol Spence, he got a lot to prove, just like Terence Crawford got a lot to prove. Errol Spence got to prove to the world. Errol Spence has to prove to the world that there was issues. There was a rhyme and a reason as to why he lost the first fight. There was an excuse. Now Errol Spence got to prove to the world, I removed all excuses as well. He got to now prove to the world there was an excuse. I wasn't myself. And show up in this rematch. Can't wait. So let's see how it unfolds. But now you got Jaron Boots Ennis, undefeated welterweight superstar title contender, who has a record of 31 wins, no losses, no draw, 28 big wins by way of knockout, 26 years of age, 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. He's the International Boxing Federation, better known as the IBF, mandatory challenger for Terence Crawford belt that's getting ready to be vacated. As well as you have former unified WBC, WBA welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, who has a record of 30 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 22 wins by way of knockout, 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 69-inch arm reach. He's the WBC mandatory challenger. So can we see Keith Thurman versus Jaron Ennis facing off for that vacant WBC IBF titles? All for one. They should make Keith Thurman versus Jaron Ennis for both those belts. They let Canelo Alvarez do it. Canelo Alvarez faced off against Caleb Smith, and and for the WBA title that was held by Caleb Smith, and the vacant WBC title. We saw that already. So can we see that Keith Thurman, that'll entice Keith Thurman to fight Jaron Boots Ennis, period. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.